So let's add security. We want to password protect our recipe. To set up this application, to do this, there's some things that we have to do. So I have my main window open, and I only have two buttons, either main and then I have recipe to open up a recipe window. First of all, I need to go to my display settings here, and I want to show you something under behavior and the security code. See, we can pick different security codes for screens, which means you have to be logged in to access that screen with this parameter of security A, B, C, etc., etc. Right now this doesn't really have security. Anybody can access that screen. We're going to leave that one alone. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to go add security to our recipe screen. We're going to right click on display settings, and we'll give it a security feature of A and hit OK, and then we'll save it and close it. And we'll see that we basically have the default. Now typically everybody's going to be 4.0 and later, but understand there was a change here, so if you have an older application and haven't upgraded your firmware, that you'll have to work in here. We want to add a new user, and we'll just call it admin. By default, right now, if we see default, has access to all of these screens with this tag on it. Since we've tagged, we're going to make a priority or password protected screen. We have to go to default, hit accept, and now default will not be able to access the recipe screen. So we're going to add a user. Now I will caution you about trying to add a user or Windows user for this. What we're going to do is just add a factory talk user. One of the things you have to worry about is you'll have to keep up with this password, because if you export this application to another computer, in the past that password doesn't come with it. And so it's an easy fix. You have to go into this screen, delete the user, put it back. But the easiest thing to do would be to write the password down. We always put them on the back of the touch screen in a small tag, and that way you can simply just put the password back in and then it works the same. So if you're upgrading a panel view or making changes, you don't want to have to tell everybody the new password, unless of course there is an issue. User, which we don't want to do. We just want to add a factory talk user, and I will give it admin as the name, and you don't have to fill any of this in. If you want to put emails, that's all optional. If you're just wanting to add some simple password protection to, say, a sensitive area of your touch screen application, you want to make sure that if that's what you're doing, it's a simple application, you need to make sure that the user cannot change the password and that it never expires. And then we'll add a password. I will just do 1234. We'll confirm it with 1234. Of course, you'd want a stronger password probably on your application if it was actually deployed. So we'll hit OK. And we should have put them right here. So now we have to add the user to the application. So we've created the admin, and I had a little issue, so I created admin 2. That will probably be deleted, but here we're going to click on admin, and then we're going to hit OK, and that will put it into the application. By default, it has access to everything. We're going to leave that alone because we want the admin with the password 1234 to have access to everything. Okay, and so we can, if we're just we can add a macro. I would have to look that up. That we can, when they immediately log in, it takes them to the recipe screen. That is an option. But we're going to do this pretty simple, so we'll just do this. We'll hit close. We'll accept the changes and we'll close it, save the changes. So now we have an admin. And so if we go over to our recipe screen, we'll make sure once again that the security code A is on this screen only. And then we will have to insert a login screen. So I will go to Objects, User Management, and I will get a login button. So I can come over here and install my login button. I can change the back color to try to match some of the existing buttons like that. Then we'll put login feature on there. Hit apply. We want to have caption color to be black, possibly bold. Apply, and that looks similar to our other buttons, even though that's not a navigation button. I need to be a little bigger. And so we'll save this application. And I'm going to say that I just need to put the login here. So now that we've done that, we should not be able to access the runtime screen on this. So what I'm going to do here is pause it for a second and then open up the now that we've launched it in emulation, if we try to click on the recipe screen, we will get an error that says you're not logged in. If we click on one or log in, and then we click username was all caps, admin, and then 1 2 3 4, and we log in. Now we didn't get any confirmation here, but if we click on recipe now we can access this. Then we're getting errors. I don't think the PLC is running at this point. So we'll shut this down. One of the things and under the runtime, make sure that you enable the auto logout if you need to. Maybe 30 minutes. I usually, if they're editing recipes, you would want to give them a good amount of time, and then you would want to make sure that you actually left that screen, so you make it go back to the main screen. If you don't do that, most people will forget to log out, even if because you have to add a separate button, one more step, and so this will make sure that those screens stay protected